Purdue, Iowa, Minnesota Northwestern. Unfortunately, Purdue lost. Nebraska and Wisconsin both advanced, so I'll be looking a little more detail on the Cup games once it gets going. But definitely take a look at the bracket. Thank you guys. Some favorable matchups, some interesting matchups. So look forward to see how you do. And you can see in the background there, picture of some recaps and stuff. And one idea that I had, don't know what you guys think of it, but something I was kind of thinking about. Pick them and rank them, I guess. 10 games in week 1, 11 games in week 2, and basically I kind of rank the games in the order from bottom up and what I thought would be the easiest game, on paper to pick a winner, and moving up towards one, it'd be progressively harder. So basically what you would do is you would pick who you think would win the game minus your own team, and then you would get points. I can get more into that at the end here. But looking at week 1, and I'll just, as an example, what I have, the 10th game would be Ohio State at Wyoming. Game 9 is Michigan State at Akron. Johnny and Weasel brothers doing battle. 8 is Illinois against Notre Dame on the road. WJ looking to get back to a good start. 7 would be Indiana at Memphis. Memphis is a D team, so I'm thinking that Indiana is going to be able to put up some nice passing yards. 6, you've got Northwestern at Washington State. Interesting matchup there. 5, I have Iowa at Ohio. I think Iowa is a pretty solid team, but Ohio is a deceptively good team at a B-. 4, you've got an NDL Florida battle. Penn State at South Florida, and AJ is really taking the passing, so should be a lot of points scored in that game, I'm thinking. Game 3, Virginia traveling to the Big House to play Michigan. It should be a very good game, 2 good teams. Number 2, Stanford at Nebraska. Whoever's quarterback is forced to have to do more may be in trouble in that one. And then the game of the week for week 1, Wisconsin traveling to Blacksburg to take on the 2-time defending champ VT. Moving to week 2, game 11, I've got Michigan State at Texas State. And I'm looking for Maxwell to really get going in that game. 10 is Toledo at Ohio State. Ohio State offense should be able to get things going. In-state battle, Michigan at Central Michigan. So again, another lower rank out of conference game, trying to get essentially get things going. 8, Penn State at home against Utah State and Aggies. 7, UMass at home against Indiana. And UMass did have a decent season last year, I believe. Granted for their ratings, so not a team to sleep on. A rival game coming in at number 6. You've got Purdue hosting Notre Dame. 5, a matchup that I think is pretty interesting. Illinois at home against UConn and Dave. So that passing offense for both sides that matter will definitely have a tough task with the defense they face. 4, Wisconsin at home against Mississippi State. SEC, always tough matchups because of the speed they have, and they're overrated. That's just my opinion, at least the bottom part. 3, Iowa at Iowa State. The Cy-Hawk Trophy should be a very good game there. Usually those games are pretty close in NDL history. 2 would be Minnesota hosting San Diego State. And I'm sure I'm missing one in there. Number 1, I didn't sneak that one in there. It'd be Northwestern versus BYU. So, lastly, you can see some pictures there. We're going to go ahead and go to the All-Americans. A little behind here, but at quarterback for first team, we've got Andrew Maxwell of Michigan State, James Vandenberg of Iowa. For running back, you got Ball of Wisconsin, Red of Penn State. Fullback is Boren of Ohio State. Receivers are Roundtree of Michigan and Hughes of Indiana. Pedersen of Wisconsin for tight end. And then offensive line, Lewan for Michigan, McDonald, Michigan State, Frederick, Wisconsin, Omame, Michigan, and Wagner, Wisconsin. Defense, Simon of Ohio State and Waugh of Michigan at defensive ends. Defensive tackles, you've got Short of Purdue and Hankins of Ohio State. Outside linebackers, Kirksey of Iowa. I don't even know how to say that guy's name. Mouty of Penn State. Pretty sure I said that wrong, so I wouldn't make a good teacher or professor. Morris, middle linebacker of Iowa. Corners, you got Smith of Wisconsin and Green of Nebraska. Safeties, Kovacs of Michigan and Campbell of Northwestern. And then kicker, Michigan State, Conroy and DeVernus, I don't even know how to say that, of Illinois for punter. Second team, we've got Robinson, or Shoelace, whatever you want to call him, Michigan. Martinez, Nebraska. Running backs would be Bodden and Burkhead. And Burkhead, Nebraska, of course. Bodden, Purdue. Fullback would be Merrow of Nebraska. Receivers, actually I got the receivers mixed up. The first team is actually Lippett of Michigan State and Roundtree. And second team is Hughes and Aberdaris of Wisconsin. Tight end is Stoneburner of Ohio State. Tackles are Muhart and France, Ohio State, Michigan State, respectively. Guards, Mulroy of Northwestern, Treadmill of Michigan State. Center is, how do you say these names? Whatever, I'll post it. I'm not even going to butcher his name. It's from Purdue. Defensive ends, you've got Buchanan from Illinois, Rush of Michigan State, Hageman and Steinkühler at defensive tackles, Minnesota and Nebraska, respectively. Outside linebackers, Nabuizi of Northwestern and Cooper of Minnesota. Middle linebacker, Demmons of Michigan. Haben, and Hyde, whatever pronunciation for the Indiana guy, and then Hyde is from Iowa. Lewis, Michigan State, and Stafford of Nebraska rounding out the safety. So there are your All-Americans. Farah, Penn State kicker, and Maurer, Nebraska. I will post these in type format so you can see, and then I'll also list how many each team has. Everybody had a minimum of at least 2, and Michigan State leading the way with 8. A couple of teams with 7. So this is what I've got for inaugural show. Good luck to everyone in Block 1, and I will see you guys in a week.